Hello everybody, welcome to the 2021 edition of the Herald Cooking Masterclass series. Today is the very first episode for the year. The chefs are in the kitchen, they're excited. They'll be taking you through a couple of health dishes today. So I'm hoping that you're all prepped and ready to cook along with them in your kitchen. From the Herald side, just a big thank you to the team of chefs at Capsicum Culinary Studio. Thank you to Checkers and thank you to Three Peaks Wine for supporting the Herald Masterclass series. That's from the Herald. I will now hand over to the chefs in the kitchen. Chefs, over to you.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Masterclass series for 2021 with Chef Donovan and myself, Chef Nadia. We'll be doing healthy meals today. So Chef Don will be doing a pole barley salad with calamari steak, and I will be doing a couscous and beef salad with some Asian infusion. And then I'll hand over to Chef D.
Welcome back, guys. We would like to say thank you from Capsicum, the Herald, Three Peaks Wine, and Checkers. Today we're going to take a healthy twist on grains. Sometimes we don't know what to do with the grains. Myself and Chef Nadia is here to show you guys how to use them. Hey, Chef Nadia, over to you.
Okay, so for the couscous salad, basically some raw couscous. Very easy to prepare. I've got some boiling water, so you can just pour some over. Just make sure to cover it. You guys can see. So just make sure you cover it, and then you can wrap it with some cling wrap. Thank you.
Chef Nadia, how much water should one throw over the couscous?
Okay, so there is no accurate measurement. It depends on how much couscous you're actually using. So if you're going to be preparing couscous for a family of 4 and you're using 500 grams, I'd say about equal amount of water or about 250 moles more. So let's say 500 moles plus extra 250 moles just in case you do not cover it. Because it actually absorbs quite a bit of water. And you need to make sure that your couscous is very dry once you have rested it. So I'm going to leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you can leave it on the side.
Okay. So for my salad, exactly the same procedure as what Chef Nadia has done. You're going to take your dried bulgur wheat, and this time we're going to completely cover it in water because this grain actually soaks up more water. So just a bit of boiling water, same procedure as Chef Nadia. This time I'm not really worried about how much water. This one soaks up too much, so you can actually then reserve the grains for later. Cling wrap that and then set it aside for another 10 minutes.
While I'm wrapping. So while your grains are busy soaking up, getting cooked up, let me start off with my steak. Because you need to rest your steak before you actually slice it up. When it comes to grilling the steaks, you need to make sure that your pan reaches the smoking point. Okay, so no oil in your pan because you're going to be oiling your steak. So just season with some salt and pepper.
I think one mistake that guys do is they add oil to the griddle pan. Once you add oil to the griddle pan, you won't get it grown mark, right? And oil accelerates the heat, so you don't want, then your steak will then burn. So the addition of oil to your steak there will make for a better grill.
Okay. What I like to do, you can add normal chili flakes or chili powder. I like using a Korean chili powder. Just adds a lot more flavor and color as well. So just on both sides. And then you can either use some sesame oil or normal olive oil. Because I'm doing like an Asian infusion, I'm going to use sesame oil. Just make sure you rub that in. Both sides. Just give it a few minutes.
And must I say that's a lovely piece of steak there available at Checkers?
Yes. All ingredients are found at Checkers. So you want that nice sizzle once you put the steak in the pan. Not sure if you guys can hear that. Okay, you can hear the sound. So that's what you want when grilling a steak, and leave it. Okay? We tend to have the habit of flipping our steak every 10 seconds, every 20 seconds. We'll only turn the steak once a liquid comes to the top of the steak. Then you know it's ready to turn over, because most of the cooking happens at the bottom. And then when you turn it over, you'll have minimum cooking time. And then we'll just christen up the fats on the side. Okay, I'll hand over to Chef G so that he can get his protein on the go.
So while my bulgur wheat is soaking, we're going to go ahead and prepare the vegetables for my dish. Okay, so for that we have some coriander, we've got a chili, we've got some tomatoes, we've also got cucumber, and then also your onion. I'm going to go ahead and start with my orange. Right? So in your recipe there, you would have heard that I need to zest and keep half and juice the half, right? So my idea is to zest the orange first. If you're going to first cut your orange, you're not going to have enough zest to take off. So just the standard zester. If you do not have a zester, you can use the fourth side of a grater, and make sure that you don't get the pith in, just the rind or the skin of the actual orange. Okay. Let me go and remove the zest.
I think while you zest, you'll also get that beautiful citrus aroma from the orange as well.
Okay, and then that's the zest you have there. Now I can proceed with removing the segments from my orange. So what you guys want to do, what we teach the students is to top and tail your fruits and vegetables. So I'm taking the top part and the tail part of the orange, right? And that already then reveals your segments. Easy way to peel an orange. You're going to place your knife just under the white section, and you're going to move the knife around the actual orange, also revealing the segments that you require.
Try and get as much of the white part as possible, because that's fairly bitter, and you don't want that bitterness in your salad as well.
Because you guys are cooking along, I'm going to give you some time. Because I only need half, I can then reveal the actual segments of only half of my orange, right? So the segments you want to remove are all these between the white lines. So the way to do that there is to place your knife just on the side of the white section, and you're going to then slice inwards on a triangular sort of shape. And then once you've done that there, you can then release the segments from the orange. Okay. Just going to, for my salad, I just need a few, and it's mostly for the garnish on the top, but it also adds a nice sweet flavor when you're making your calamari.
And then those that are doing the beef and couscous salad, we will perform exactly the same task, because we have orange segments in our salad as well.
Thank you.
So we have some students assisting us as well. They are the behind the scenes. So if you see stuff magically appearing on the screen, it's thanks to our students.
You can use your children for assistance. And then to squeeze out the orange juice there, I'm just going to take the remainder of my orange, and then holding my hand below the orange, I'm going to then catch all the seeds if there are any. So you need roughly the juice of the half of the orange only. And that will become your salad dressing and your pickling liquid.
Okay. I'm about to turn my steak. Okay, so you'll see a lot of smoke happening. Okay, so I've got that beautiful caramelization on the side. Most of the cooking has happened already. So I'll do about 4 to 3 minutes on the one side, and then I'm just going to crispen off my fat as well. I'll just leave it on the top.
I'm going to proceed to prepare my other vegetables. So what you're going to need is a cucumber. So for my cucumber, I've cut them into quarters, just as stated in the recipe. I am then going to proceed with slicing off the skin of my cucumber. And that also removes some of the bitterness from your cucumber. So once the skin is removed, I would then use a corer to remove the seeds. If you don't have a corer, you guys can just simply slice through the cucumber and remove the seeds with a spoon. This is my little trick that I found out, and it's easy to remove the core then from your cucumber. Then I'm going to slice that in half. And for my salad, I need cucumber slices. I'm just going to go ahead and cut a few slices for myself. So that is what you are looking for. Remember, when you are taking a recipe, your style is your style. If you want to do them cubed, like I did for my plating, you can do so. Otherwise, slices are just fine.
So the exact same thing to our beef salad people, exactly the same process. If you want to have slices, rounds, cubes, entirely up to you.
Isn't that nice, Chef Nadia? We're preparing one cucumber, but we're making two dishes. So you guys are cooking two dishes at the same time if you wanted to follow. With your tomatoes, what you simply want to do is then quarter them, nice sharp knife. Right. You can leave them whole, you can slice them as long as they are of an equal size. Okay. The chili, here we have a habanero chili. You are, sorry, jalapeno. You are going to use your chili to your taste. If you like something sweeter, you're going to use something like pepperdews and peppers. I like a little bit of a kick, right? And that will bring a nice freshness to the salad. So I'm going to half my chili, cut them into manageable pieces. To that, I'm going to add my coriander, stem and leaf, cut them into little manageable pieces. And then I'm going to proceed to chop them all up together.
So while Chef Dan is busy doing that, my steak is done. I like having my steak rare or medium rare. Okay, so we've got that nice char on the fat. Okay, cooked beautifully. And then what we're going to do is leave it to rest. Okay, so when we do cut it, you don't have an excess flow of your meat juices.
Good. So Chef Nadia, while you're resting your steak there, sure. I've now cut this is what I call my vegetables. You guys are wondering where the vegetables that Chef Donovan is talking about that you prepared. These are your vegetables, right? It's your chilies, your coriander. Then we're going to mix it with some of the orange juice and your olive oil. You can chop up some mint in there, mint is your flavor, right? And that is going to become your marinating juices for your other vegetables, which is your cucumber. Okay.
So while our steak is resting, we'll prepare the rest of our veg for our salad. Okay, let me just put Chef Donovan's stuff. Okay, so we do have some cherry tomatoes. We've got some beautiful colored ones, some yellow, green, and red. Okay, so you can either do them in quarters. I like doing them in rounds. Just adds a different texture, different shape to your salad. Just a few of them.
Those are nice colors, Chef.
Beautiful colors. Yeah, so that's what they should look like. Okay, then you can set them aside. Okay, we've got some red onion slices, but if you want to go in circles, you can do that as well. What happened to? Okay, then I've got some feta. So I like doing them in sticks, or you can cut them in blocks. Okay, then we'll make our dressing for our salad. So the orange juice that you squeeze from your segments, just a little bit of that. Olive oil or sesame oil, so I'm sticking with sesame oil. Okay, and then a little bit of soy sauce, light or dark, entirely up to you. Flavor preference. And then some red wine or white wine vinegar. Okay, then just some seasoning, so salt and pepper.
So, Chef, when you're making a dressing like this, is there a certain ratio you have to stick to?
It's entirely up to you on your flavor preference. I normally like to go equal amounts of oil to vinegar. So if you're using a tablespoon of vinegar, a tablespoon of oil, or you can go less, depending entirely on what you like. It is never the actual recipe lately. Okay. And just make sure to put it all in. We're going to mix it through. Well, combined with your soy sauce and your orange juice. Okay. Smells really good.
I hope you guys, I wish you could smell lovely smells coming from this kitchen. While Chef Nadia was busy there, I heated up a pan, and then you would have seen on your recipe there that you need some toasted nuts. How are you going to toast your nuts? You can take some pecans, right? Throw it into a dry pan, and then just toss them until you get that nice nutty aroma. We're not looking for blackness or any color change here. We're just looking for that nice toasty smell from the nuts. After you've roasted your nuts, you can then continue with chopping them fine, and we're going to put that into our mixture a little bit later.
Okay, so these are the whole toasted, and then that is our nuts chopped up.
So I'm going to be using the same pan because I haven't used any oil, remember? Now at Checkers, these calamari steaks have already been scored. I wrote you a recipe there that says take the calamari steak and make little score lines. Score lines means that you don't have to cut through them. It just relaxes the seafood so it doesn't curl up in your pan, and that's why we do these score lines. And it also looks very attractive. My little chef's tip there, I'm going to season with salt and pepper first. A little chef's tip there is we always cook the presentation side first. So what is the presentation, might you ask? Any side you wish to show the guest that you are serving, that would be the presentation side. Okay. This instance, the lovely scored side is my presentation side. And then in the heated pan.
Okay, so the sizzle is always very important.
Yes, we like to cook with sound. Right? We eat with our eyes, ears, everything. Amber, could I just get a fork there?
So I'm just checking on my couscous, checking the texture, consistency, has it absorbed enough? Is it dry? Okay, so it absorbed quite a bit of water. You can see that it almost doubled in size. And how we check is just by putting our fork in and just lightly fluffing it. So just move your fork from side to side. And just loosening up all the grains, making sure there's no lumps in between. You can also use a stock or a nice flavored broth instead of boiling water, and that will just add some more flavor to your salad as well. Okay, so I've got nice dry grains, everything is loosened up, then you know your couscous is ready.
Yeah, the one thing that you don't want is your grains to stick all together. And that is why we are fluffing it with a fork, just to separate the grains to make a nice, light, fluffy salad.
How's the steak doing, Chef?
Steak is coming on well, Chefy. Just needs to go a minute more, and then my steak will be ready. In the meantime, I have got my chopped up chili, coriander. I'm going to then add to that the vegetables that I want to pickle. So pickling is a way of preserving. There's lots of acid in the orange juice there. You can use lemon juice. I just thought I'll change it up by adding an orange instead of a lemon flavor, because orange fruit I think goes better with seafood, right? So I'm putting
some sweetness in there as well.
There's a lovely sweetness that it adds and a nice punch as well. Some onions.
Okay, so one of our viewers said that they do their couscous in a pot with some butter and wine. So there is a great version of it as well. It just adds some more flavor and it adds a little more creaminess to your couscous.
I'm just going to give that a toss there with my fingers.
And that already looks visually very beautiful.
See those lovely Mediterranean colors there, even Asian colors, right? Orange, red, green. Remember I said you eat with your eyes and with your ears. Toss some tomato in there, some more yellow, red, green, and that can then just steep for a while to pick up all those lovely flavors. Pinch of salt in there, they will release more of the juices.
I'm going to go ahead and start boiling my salad. Okay, so I've got some ready-made couscous already. Just grab a bowl. So this I'm just doing for one person.
Fire happening in the kitchen.
Okay, you can put as much as little couscous as you want for yourself. Okay, so I've got my tomatoes that I'm adding. Sliced cucumber. Some red onion. Okay, some of our orange segments. Then I've got some fresh herbs, some dill, coriander, and mint. Just roughly put them apart. It's all about texture. Okay. If you would like to add some more seasoning, you're more than welcome to do so. Just lightly toss it up. Okay, you want to make sure that everything is mixed through. You have a balance of all the vegetables. Once mixed through, just make space for my cutting board. Pass it to the chef. Okay, so my steak should be well rested. I've got some beautiful char on here.
That's a good presentation side, right? Yeah. Those are draw marks, some nice crystal on the side there. I want to eat it now.
Okay, so you can see that pinkness. I'll show you guys in a minute. So you can cut it very thick or very thin, depending on how you want it. Okay, so I'm just going with nice medium thick cuts. Okay, let's just grab my tongs. So I just want to show you guys the color. Got nice rare steaks with that nice grill exterior.
And it really doesn't take long.
A very good size. So can you please pass me my plate for presentation?
Sure.
Ian, I wish you can taste it as well. You are missing out. Okay, so this is a very rustic, lots of good flavor. That's about it in my bowl. Okay, then I'm just stopping my steak above. and it cooled down slightly as well, so the meat won't cook through your cucumber and you won't lose texture. So I'll just go with 5 pieces. Okay, then I like using feta sticks. Just adds a little difference in texture as well.
That looks yummy, Chef.
Okay, I'm stealing some zest from our salad next door.
Really zesty I am.
Just some herbs. You can use any herb you like to garnish. And then if you have, or you're into nuts, you can sprinkle some toasted nuts. Okay. Or you can go with the whole nuts for texture and presentation. Am I missing anything? My dressing. Okay. And just lightly dress your salad or heavily.
I would like lots and lots of dressing.
Okay, and that is our beef and couscous salad. Done. A whole 25 minutes. Okay, so I've got Carol. She wants to know how long we rest our steak for. You can rest it anything from 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, it does not really matter as long as you don't cut it immediately as when you take it out the pan, because then you'll lose all that nice meat juice.
Moisture.
So let it rest about 5 to 10 minutes. If you're having it with a salad, it's fine if it's whole, does not matter. If you're having it as a main, in about 3 to 5 minutes would be fine.
The old rule of thumb is you calculate the total amount of time that you cook it, and then you rest it for half that time. So if it was 8 minutes, then your resting time will be 4 minutes. But there's no set rule. You will feel and you will see the texture of your steak, right? And when it's ready to cut. If it fights back, it's not great.
And you can see on my cutting board, minimum meat juices on there. So nothing is running around.
Okay. So now to complete my dish, I've got my calamari that's fried, or my calamari steak. I've got everything prepared. I just need a bit of lettuce, Chef. So the last thing I'm going to prepare is chiffonade of lettuce, which means it's finely shredded. My recipe did tell you that to serve it in a cup. So if you want to leave your lettuce whole, you can. Right? Can you just pass me the lettuce?
No, lettuce, I'll give that to you.
Oh.
Amber, can you
Amber,
please bring us a green cutting board?
Yeah, we're name dropping here, but there's no faces. Right? Amber. Thank you, Amber. So to chiffonade, you're simply going to take your lettuce leaf if you're using it for, if you're making coleslaw and using cabbage, the same technique will apply. So roll them up tightly into a cigar. Start on one edge there and just finely chop up. So I'm going to do a chef version of my plating, right? First of all, I need to mix my salad. So I'm going to take my wheat. That's now nicely soaked, nice and bouncy. Remember to drain off the water.
This you can also leave to rest. So once it's done, you can drain it and you can just set it aside as well.
Then I'm going to toss in a little bit of my veggies and keep some aside for some juice aside for dressing and some veggies there for garnish. Give that a mix. Remember, there's salt and pepper in your pickle. If you want added salt, you can then add. So now
as you guys can see, we took a minimum amount of time to prepare these dishes. So after work meals, lunchbox meals, you can incorporate it into the lunch tins, quick meal if you're tired after work. So very quickly.
Yeah. If you know us by now, we are quick cooks, right? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to create a mound of lettuce leaves, and that will act as a nice soaking up bed for all those nice juices. I'm then going to top it with my mixture of bulgur wheat And you guys can mix and match. You can use couscous as well.
You can add chickpeas, lentils, any grain that you're familiar or used to.
Okay. Then I just need to slice my calamari. Lovely char marks on there as well.
Okay, so Chef Leon wants to know, will your lettuce go brown quicker if you cut it in a chiffonade, or is it be better to just tear it apart?
Okay. The brownness will happen whether you tear it or chiffonade. The main thing is your storage of. So if you, it will brown quicker if there's excess liquid. So when you rinsing your lettuce, let them dry first completely, and then when you cut them, the bruising only takes place a while after you cut them. So if you freshly cut them there and keep them in a container in your fridge, it should not brown as quickly. So it doesn't really matter. Sheffy, I'm going to top your slices. Okay. So I'm going to go more of an angled slice. So I'm angling my knife. And this is now for the fish lovers that doesn't like red meat. And then this char mark here will also resemble that red meat. Now with seafood, you do not want to see the same thing that Sheffy has had, right? But you want to just have it evenly cooked and not overcooked. So you're not looking for anything that sort of loosens up and tears, because then it becomes very dry. So this is, I think, I would love that cook like 3 minutes, right? And that's total time. Okay. And then I'm going to add seafood. Just remember, if you guys are not into seafood and you just want to make this a vegetarian dish, then remove the seafood or the meat. Right? So I've placed it just so. And now I'm going to use my final colors just to add an extra bit of color onto my dish. Nadia. And seafood goes lovely with your fennel.
Yes, with my
right, so I'm going to add some coriander. I like a kick of fresh coriander. And then the fennel goes lovely with that fish.
And I think this dish will be perfect for the up-and-coming Easter weekend. So if you maybe do your couscous with all the vegetables and that pickled fish, it will go really well together. Or even this calamari salad as a side dish. Maybe you can do a braai snoep and pull it apart and just use the base of the grains. You can incorporate that as well.
Yeah, I'm all pickled fish out, guys. So this is my kind of Easter weekend. And there we go. Lovely grain salad with a seafood side. Remember, vegetarian, you don't need to add the seafood or even the beef.
Okay. You can maybe use tofu as well as a substitute. So you can maybe roll your tofu, flour it. We did a practical today with tofu and it came out beautifully. So some rolled tofu, and you can top it up on your grains as well. Yes, Leah, we do use dal with fish, but you can incorporate it into any dish that it pairs well with.
If you think of the flavor of dal, it is the same licorice sort of addition. So it can be fennel, dal. It can even be whole fennel, braised fennel bulb, things that sort of flavor, and beautiful with orange as well. Okay?
So it has a beautiful licorice, dal, fennel. We smell both of them exactly the same.
Yeah. Also, aniseed. If you were to toast your nuts and you add aniseed to that flavor, it will bring out a little more of that flavor as well. If you are into that sort of flavor, because I know not everyone is a licorice fan.
Okay, so for our next masterclass, which is happening in May, we would like you guys to please suggest any recipes you would like us to try out. So if there's something you're interested in that we haven't done before or new to you and would like us to do it, we'll have a selection and then maybe a vote can happen and we can select a recipe of choice. So please send us recipes, get involved, and let's see whose recipe will win.
Yeah, and if that recipe wins, who knows? Maybe you might win a hamper from Three Peaks Wine or even a hamper from Checkers. You never know.
Or the Herald.
So from me, Chef Donovan,
and myself, Chef Nadia.
Have a lovely evening and thank you for joining us today.
And we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.